What's going on, guys? This is Miyasin. So this video is going to be a pretty special one because I'm going to quote-unquote go over the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel ban list, but what it's really going to be about will be me kind of ranting about how Konami is not really trying their hardest to actually fix this game, and it really feels like everything that they're doing right now is kind of sporadic. But of course, before I go into any of these explanations, make sure you like and subscribe, check me out on Twitch and Instagram, and now let's jump right into it. So the ban list has been getting a lot of negative reactions from people, that's what I can say, for a wide variety of reasons. First of all, not a single card has been banned, which is already unacceptable because VFD should have gotten banned, regardless of what your stance or opinion is. It really doesn't matter, and the reason for that is because VFD is a card that is banned both in the OCG and in the TCG. So why would we play a format? It represents nothing, because VFD is not a card you should be entitled to play. I'm not saying that the card is unfair, but even though it is unfair, but what I am saying is, why would we want to waste our time playing a format that doesn't make us any better in the actual format that we're playing on? So either the TCG or the OCG, it ends up just being a waste of time. So people can't really relate to, you know, playing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel sometimes because they would be playing with completely different cards, and then in real life they're like, oh wow, the game is so much different. So it's not necessarily welcoming to new players. And another thing that makes this game extremely unappealing to new players is how unfair the top decks are compared to the other decks. And you really can't say that the top decks are super skill-based or anything, so really can't use the argument of, oh yeah, but the thing is, even if we just nerf all of them just a little bit, then it doesn't do anything negative because the other decks are going to have a slightly better chance and only the top players will be able to compete. That is not the case whatsoever. You can have an IQ of like 0 and be able to like full Drytron combo on people. You don't need a brain if you play Drytron and you win your dice roll and you have full combo and you don't get a hand shot. You do not need a brain for that. And a lot of decks are just right now autopilot to the point where there's even people botting with like the FTK from Dynamite. But to be fair, that was the only kind of quote-unquote issue that was addressed, and even then I still have something to say. So Dynamite going to 2 is honestly almost disrespectful from Konami because it means that they understand the fact that people are botting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, but they're not really trying to fix the botting issue. Rather, they're trying to kind of prevent the botters from winning consistently. That's what I'm really trying to say, because real humans do not actually play this deck unless they're trying to troll or just, you know, play for fun and they actually suck. But people don't play this deck seriously. It's just a deck that annoys people a little bit because obviously if you're going second against this deck, it might actually FTK you at a pretty high rate, to be honest. Obviously you can lose to like random shit, but whatever, that's besides the point. It's still, you know, it's still a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. But the thing is, it doesn't change the fact that this is like one of the weirdest hits in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's not degenerate whatsoever. It's just a problem of botters abusing kind of problems in the code of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. I don't even know how that's even possible, but it is what it is. And then what other things can I say to attack Konami's ban list as much as possible? Conquistador to 1, absolutely pathetic, because I want to see Edlich is definitely not on the same level as, let's say, full power Adamantipator, full power Leerless Tri-Brigade, and full power, well, I mean, this is Prankids and Adamantipator, so that's, I guess that's like a double hit, but not really. I mean, Roxy's to 2 literally does nothing to Prankids. Literally. Most people would only play 2 Roxys, even if they could play 3, and there's not like a substantial difference between 2 to 3 anyway, so really nobody cares. And then Cobalt Sparrow to 2 is also laughable. Lao to 2, what the f... Are you inside? Bro, Konami, what the hell? And then Fractal to 2 instead of Tenki to 1, or Fractal to 1, or Nerval to 1. This is like dreadful. It really has no impact. Like, the thing is, just try to think about it this way. Like, even limiting a card like Kirin when it was a 3 didn't change much because the card never went from 3 to 1, it went from 6 to 4. Now, Fractal is easily searchable, so it doesn't go from 3 to 2, it goes from 6 to 5. So in terms of maths, you're barely changing anything, especially when you take into consideration the fact that Pot of Prosperity exists and that you can actually start your engine with stuff like Kit and NEBBW, so you really don't need to specifically draw Fractal. And if you really want to balance out the game just a little bit, you don't actually actually hit these kind of cards. Unless, of course, you're trying to limit Fractal, then I think that would be completely understandable. Limiting Fractal would have been actually a pretty good hit, and even limiting Torn Scales would have been a good hit, but Semi-Limit? Bro, Semi-Limit is not the kind of thing you do for these kind of cards. Semi-Limit is great for cards like Fusion Destiny, I want to say, because whatever, even if it's limited, it's still going to see play because of Verte Anaconda. And then Sekka's Light, I mean, that's a debatable one. I'm not gonna give Konami too much shit for semi-limiting Sekka's Light, even though I don't think that was like that big of an issue. I feel like most people are playing, you know, without Sekka's Light, even if they can. Even the Burning Abyss decks that I've been seeing recently were not always on Sekka's Light. Some of them were. Obviously, the biggest Sekka's Light deck would be Adamantipator, but still, I mean, it's not like Sekka's Light was the card you really had to destroy, because now by semi-limiting it, you're causing so much collateral damage that people will not be able to play this card in non-unfair decks anymore. But like I said, the main reason why people are really complaining about this ban list is the fact that we had a lot of problems in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and this game was seriously suffering from stagnation, and the worst thing that you can do when a game is stagnating is giving us a shitty ban list with no impact. Semi-limiting cards is actually just insulting the community. Like, this should rarely be a thing. It really should very rarely be a thing. In the TCG, look at this, man. Look at the amount of cards that are semi-limited, right? It's not a lot. It really isn't. And a lot of these cards, they were actually at 1, and then they actually were bumped to 2 because Konami wants to test them out. So, you know, if they do like too much, then they're going to downgrade them back to 1. But if they do nothing, then they're going to go back to 3. For example, I can actually see next ban list, Circle going back to 3, and Scapegoat going back to 3, and maybe a Hero Lives going back to 3 if Fusion Destiny gets banned. That could actually make sense, but we never have too many cards in the semi-limited section compared to like the limited. This is insane. Limited is the biggest like card pool, I want to say. It's even bigger than, well, to be fair, Forbidden has a lot of cards too. But yeah, limited, I think, has slightly more cards than banned. Maybe like tied, but again, semi-limited? No, definitely not. So Konami, please stop repeating this mistake over and over and over again, especially when you're semi-limiting cards that are not that necessary in overpowered decks in formats where people seriously complain about the top decks. Now, I guess Ben 10 to 1 is actually a pretty... It's an okay hit, but it's not enough. Obviously, I think Ben 10 should have been limited, and then Ava should have gone banned, actually, because obviously limiting Ava is also an insult to the GOAT player's intelligence, because it's not a nerf. There's no difference between playing 1 Ava and 3 Ava or 10 Avas, whatever, because even when people can play multiple Avas, the most popular decks, the best decks in the TCG were only playing 1 Ava, so it really doesn't matter. So Ava to 0 would actually make a lot of sense, and wouldn't be unfair at all. And in case you're saying, no, you're saying you're being too harsh, the deck would be garbage, you are objectively wrong, because Drytron has been getting consistent representation in YCSs and events and stuff like that. I think he got like 3 tops at the last Remote Duel YCS, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So yeah, this ban list is a joke. And by the way, in case like you had some banned cards and you want to dismantle them now, just know that you can dismantle them for 30 points instead of 10, because now they're banned, but you can't dismantle like 20 billion cards like that, so only the surplus. So I don't know why it works like that. I think I would have just said like, you know, you can dismantle every single one of them for 30, but whatever, it is what it is. And look at the comments, guys. Like, people are not happy at all. Konami, we didn't pay an artist to make animations for Rongo, VFD, Drancia, Union Carriage just to ban them later. That's funny, but these cards aren't banned yet. This is the most underwhelming ban list I've ever seen, and I had to deal with Duel Links ban list since the game came out. Yes, absolute trash. See you guys in a few months. I think we will actually see each other in like another year, because we don't get a lot of updates, relevant updates in Master Duel. We're getting shit like Xyz Festival, Synchro Festival, stuff like that, common, rare. But the thing is, they're always the exact same thing, just disguised in like other kind of small events. But they don't have an impact, again, in the way you play the game. It's just like you deck build slightly more different, but there's still no incentive. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, it doesn't matter what level you have, because none of that has any relevance at all, and the game is just not fun if you actually want to play for a reason. If you're just playing to play the game, then whatever, but by all means, just keep playing, but Jesus. Anyways, I guess Konami didn't want to kill any deck, so they just killed their game instead. Man, that is one actually factual comment. Man. Someone who had to type out this page, I'm fine with a small ban list. Probably the only human on Earth who actually agrees. And then, okay, yeah, well, yeah, that is the one thing actually that I said is actually kind of good, but at the same time, not like the best, but whatever. Konami just doing Konami things. This ban list is pretty bad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is actually ridiculous. Rongo should have been banned, and yeah, VFD should have gotten banned instead of Lao Lao. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just this is like a perfect comment of like, you know, what should have gone banned instead. This list is depressing. This list is so bad. Oh my god, yeah, this is bad. Worthless. Everybody's angry, and even the YouTubers as well. So, again, Konami, yeah, if you're watching this, not saying that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is, like, absolute trash, because the thing is, I want the game to, like, improve, obviously. And I think one really important thing that, you know, sometimes you might have to do is just try to take a step back and ask yourself, like, you know, are we doing things that people are truly appreciating? Try to gather like feedback from, you know, the beginners and the pro players, because if you're only gathering feedback from people who still play the game, then it might not be like the best feedback, because the people who quit the game, they quit for a reason, and we should also get their feedback as well. And I know it because I've talked to a lot of friends who came back into the game when Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel was first announced, and then literally just a few weeks after, they already quit because they realized that it was either like you had to play the top deck to win, or you just had to grind too much or whatever. But yeah, not the best ban list out there, and definitely not a good sign for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, because that was their first ban list, and they were supposed to invest a lot of effort into it, because obviously they should be trying to change the game in order to make it more, you know, dynamic, instead of, again, I keep repeating myself, but stagnating in this, I want to say, mediocrity. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.